What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are having a great start to your day. I'm not sure if this video is going to make your day any better or any worse. Honestly, time will tell, given it's a fairly controversial topic, and good reason. That being because the Mets, as we know, are showing plenty of interest in a lot of different starting pitching options out there. And the big question has been, are they going to land another 2 or 3 starter, or really another 5th starter, just round out this rotation, basically have a placeholder in until Thor is back and fully healthy, assumably at this point around May or June, right? So as they've been weighing their options, 2 guys have been standing out as of today through reports the rest of them why, according to Andy Martino. Again, I know it's Andy, so take that as you will, but he has stated that the Mets have shown interest, a decent amount of interest in Jake Arrieta. There's constant dialogue there, and some interest to an extent, at least, in James Paxton, the southpaw originally from the Bronx these past couple years. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at in today's video. Everything there is to know about both these guys, the current connection, if any, and obviously we know there's definitely some there. What would they bring to the table for the Mets should they land them? Is it a good idea to land either one of these guys? Is it a bad idea? What is going to make sense of this, if at all? I'm going to break it all down, guys, so make sure you stay all the way until the end of the video for all the details and all my thoughts on a summary of both Paxton and Arrieta's game, the positives, the negatives, or maybe just the negatives to this situation should the Mets land either of them, and my personal thoughts on what I believe that they're going to be doing for the remainder of the offseason regarding starting pitching and everything in between. And if you guys do in fact enjoy this kind of Mets content and want to see more great Mets content like this, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, share this video with your friends, put on the notification bell, all those great things. Thank you all so much for the countless support, but enough of me talking, let's get right into this video. James Paxton, the 32-year-old at 6'4", 227 pounds, the southpaw was drafted in the 4th round back in 2010 by the Seattle Mariners, and in the 2020 season only played a cup of coffee due to injury as well, just racking up 5 games played with the Yanks. But in 2019, in a full season, 29 games played and 150.2 innings pitched, has racked up 15 wins, 6 losses, a 3.82 ERA, a 1.28 WHIP, 11.11 K per 9, and 3.29 walks per 9. And his career totals in 136 games played and 753 innings pitched has racked up 57 wins, 33 losses, a 3.58 ERA, and a 1.21 WHIP. Here we also have 34-year-old starting pitcher in Jake Arrieta. At a strong 6'4", 230 pounds, originally drafted in the 5th round back in 2007 by the Baltimore Orioles, and then over the 2020 shortened season with the Philadelphia Phillies in 9 games played and just over 44 innings pitched, racked up 4 wins, 4 losses, a 5.08 ERA, 32 strikeouts, a 1.51 WHIP, a 6.5 K per 9, and a 3.25 walks per 9. In 2019, however, with the Phillies in 24 games played and a total of 135.2 innings pitched, racked up at 8 wins, 8 losses, a 4.64 ERA, a total of 110 strikeouts, a 1.56 WHIP, 7.3 K per 9, and a 3.38 walks per 9. And throughout his career, in 261 games played and 1,513 innings pitched, Arrieta has racked up 110 wins, 79 losses, a 3.76 career ERA, 1,350 strikeouts, and a 1.22 WHIP. Arrieta is best known for his 2015 performance, becoming the Cy Young Award winner in the NL for the Chicago Cubs, and in 2016 being a World Series champion with the Cubs, and also, believe it or not, a Silver Slugger. Alright guys, and to expand a little bit further on each of these players' games and how they performed in the shortened 2020 season, and again, take that as you will because it was a small sample size, but look here, we have both Jake Arrieta's stats here and James Paxton. Not the brightest, at least not the greatest, to put it lightly. Paxton has some solid numbers here in the higher percentiles, but then you're looking at Arrieta, there's really nothing going there, and I perfectly understand the arguments to exactly Tyler. Why would the Mets even consider either one of these guys, let alone Jake Arrieta, for instance? And I know that's a definitely a question mark, and I'm well aware of that, and I tend to agree, honestly. But let's just take a little bit further here before we deep dive there onto what is their pitches currently. If you are wondering, in regards to James Paxton, I know I probably talked about in the past, but he has numerous pitches in his arsenal, including his 4-seam fastball that tops out around 92 miles per hour, but throughout the pitching sessions this offseason, as of late, it has actually gone a little bit higher to 94, which is great, because originally he was down low. As of late, I have seen other reports that indicate it is up to 94, which isn't terrible, but again, nothing crazy either. His curveball around 80 miles per hour, his cutter around 85.5 miles per hour, and his changeup around 82 miles per hour. Then when you take a look at Arrieta, he has a sinker around 92 miles per hour, his slider around 89, his changeup around 87, and his 4-seam fastball around 92 miles per hour. So both these guys, Arrieta being 34 years of age and James Paxton being 32, more in the latter half of their career. Paxton, in my mind, has more longevity there, whereas Arrieta, he's definitely more of a question mark. And the Mets have been connecting, have had constant dialogue with Arrieta Arrieta for the past week and a half, 2 weeks or so, and I've really been wondering why. You know, Anthony Recker stated this recently on SNY among some other guys as to, I don't understand, I can't fathom the idea where Jake Arrieta in this rotation makes any sense for them, even as a placeholder. James Paxton is a guy that does stand out a lot more. For me personally, if you're asking for my personal opinion, he is my favorite pick through free agency. I wouldn't mind a guy like Taijuan Walker and or Jake Odorizzi in front of James Paxton because of the injuries that he has dealt with this past year and the lack of velocity in some of his pitches, even though it looks like he has picked it up in his fastball a little bit. I'm not in love with the idea, but if he can be the Paxton of old like he was in Seattle, then by all means, having that kind of southpaw does have some nasty stuff. It wouldn't be an end-all situation. Having him as your fifth star is still not a bad thing. But then when you're looking at Arrieta here, coming off of more significant injuries these past couple years, if you look at what he's done since his Cy Young season, only his numbers have gone down. From originally being that sub-2 year right in the 2015 year's Cy Young year, it's gone down every single year and has not gotten better. And a guy at 34 years of age now, he's a shell of what he once was. I'm left wondering, even in a scenario where you're looking for pitching depth, I get it that you're trying to show and weigh all your options, but even then, why is he even there? You know, there's arguments to even have guys like Porcello ahead of him still in free agency, which is telling of really where a lot of people, including myself, have him currently on the poll as to all your starting pitching options. The Mets went all in on Trevor Bauer, as we know, and granted, Trevor Bauer wasn't someone they needed. They wanted him because they know that if they landed him, it would have taken their rotation over the top for the short term and having World Series aspirations. Okay, it seems that was definitely a decent round to go down. Now that Trevor Bauer has landed with the Dodgers, they're weighing their other options. I don't understand why you would go all the way as a pivot from from Bauer all the way to Arrieta. Even if you say you're going to utilize that money more in other aspects of the lineup, like third base, which seems inevitable right now from all that we've talked about. So make sure to check out previous videos on that, all the latest on that front. Center field still to an extent. I'm not sure what the future holds for Nimmo and or Dom and JD as of now. So there's a lot of question marks with this lineup. I'm aware of that. But the starting pitching, it looks like that they still want to add one more arm. That's evident with all these guys that they're showing interest in. But I'm left scratching my head here in regards to Arrieta in particular. Paxton, I can definitely live with. If they feel that they should prioritize more of the short term on a 1 or 2 year deal for a guy like Paxton to really round out this rotation, that way you have two lefties in it with him and Peterson respectfully until you bring Thor in the mix. Then if Thor is healthy throughout this halfway point of the season, then you can figure out what you want to do between Paxton or Peterson, which one may possibly go to the bullpen or be dealt, whatever it might be. I'm not sure, but I'm just saying, you know, Arrieta does not make any sense here. He's only been on downhill, and we all know the discussions with Arrieta. He hasn't necessarily had the best connections with the Mets. Take what happened with Todd Father just over the past couple of years, right?
Especially with changeups, but you know, Frazier's not happy about it. He can come see me, and I'll put a dent in his skull.
So I mean, granted, I know that wouldn't matter, especially him being in the clubhouse now. It's not like Todd Father's currently with the team or anything, and even then, you know, amends. But Pete Alonso, we all know he's a big Todd the Father guy. I'm not sure how much he would love that. All joking aside, however, I just don't see how Arrieta makes any sense imaginable. Like when we first saw the reports of it, I'm like, all right, they're weighing all their options. Don't really worry about it. They've done the same with Mike Fultonavich. They did the same thing with Corey Kluber before he landed with the Bronx. They did the same thing with Julio Teheran, checking out his pitching sessions, Anibal Sanchez, all these guys. It doesn't mean that they're going to land them. They're just weighing their options. But to see them still having dialogue with Arrieta does leave me slightly concerned, just a little bit, because if the Mets do in fact go down the Arrieta route and don't say do a bigger trade of some sort, in my mind, that is very close to your first actual kind of Wilpons move this offseason, which I know is bizarre to say, but I don't see how you look at that type of move in particular and think it's anything better. Truly, I really don't. When you have Paxton on the table, when you have Taijuan Walker, should he not go back to Toronto, when you have Jake Odorizzi, if he's willing to take maybe a shorter term deal, because I know the Mets wouldn't want to go long term with them, and this is going for his big payday, so that might be the biggest reason why he's separated from the Mets with landing there through free agency. Or if you go down the trade route still, like a Sonny Gray or a Kyle Hendricks, if you're willing to give up those assets that has been hinted at this offseason, again, only time will tell. But if you're going down free agency, there are really almost a million other options before getting to the point where you're like, all right, we have to go for Jake Arrieta to be that placeholder. Give me Rich Hill any and every day of the week. Even at what, right around 40 years old, right? I would still take that southpaw any and every day over a guy like Jake Arrieta at this point in his career. I get it that he's been injury prone too, but when he's healthy, when he's in the lineup, he's on. He has some of the nastiest breaking balls in baseball still. His blisters are crazy, I know, because of it, but as a placeholder, if you want to go more short term, if you really don't want to invest big time in the starting rotation because you felt that Bauer was the only exception outside that, you just want to add depth, okay, why wouldn't you go for a Hill over Arrieta? I know that the Mets have shown interest in Hill, but I'm just saying, from the reports we're currently seeing, I'm left scratching my head, and I really hope for the Mets' sake that they do not land Arrieta. Do I believe that they will? No, I don't. I really don't think that they will, but if they do, I'm going to be ranting about it here on the channel, because as of now, it just does not make any sense. It makes more sense that in more ways than one than it does in a positive manner. I'm talking about negatively speaking, it does not add up. Give me James Paxton, give me Taijuan Walker, give me Jake Odorizzi, give me who I said Rich Hill a second ago. Give me any of those guys before you even consider the thought of Jake Arrieta. And that is my issue right now. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about either Jake Arrieta or Paxton landing with the New York Mets as a depth role, really being your 5th starter in the rotation? Again, give me Paxton any and every day of the week over Arrieta. It's not even close. And I'm really kind of disgusted to an extent. Again, I know that they want to make sure they're weighing all their options, and I've been preaching that all off season long. But they do in fact land Jake Arrieta. In my mind, there's a problem, and it's something that I'm going to address here on the channel, and not very lightly, to be quite frank. So let me know your thoughts. As always, I won't get too worried, guys. I do believe that they're still making great moves. This is just one that does not add up for me personally. Out of all the other moves that they have done, this is the one gripe I've had so far this offseason with this Mets club. So let me know, guys, and if you in fact enjoy this kind of Mets content and want to see more great Mets content like this, you know what to do by now. Smash that like and subscribe button, share this video with your friends, pop the notification bell, all those great things. Thank you all so much for the amazing support, guys. We're just getting started, so if you're not a part of WardyNYM and we're on the family, make sure to hit those buttons, guys. But thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon.